Every day is a school day, right? I've got your posh telephone with an app on it, right? This is telling me at any given time what the country's consuming power-wise, right? So we've got gas, nuclear, all of them, renewable, all of that, right? And at this point in time, we're producing 41% of our energy through burning gas, right? And that's one of the country's biggest gas-fired power stations, and there's 32 of them in this country. 32. Let me tell you a story. 8th of August 2019, blackout. They called it Black Friday. A massive power outage. The 2 generators conked out, right? And this caused absolute pandemonium. What we had, underground ground to a halt. Lights went out, tellies went off, kettle stopped, the job stopped, right? The cause of this was, right, let me get this right. There wasn't enough inertia in the national grid to keep the job going. And this is where the problem lies. Great. Yeah, so everything in your house or your shed deals in 50 hertz AC current, right? How do we make 50 hertz AC current? As I'm learning, it's quite simple. This is your main turbine shaft at a power station. Any power station is something similar to this, which is strapped to a generator. The way to get your 50 hertz is to spin that shaft at 3,000 RPM. 3,000 RPM is 50 revolutions per second, which is your 50 hertz, just like that. Right, here we go. There's my power station, plodding along, 3,000 RPM, right? Everything's hunky-dory. Suddenly, something goes wrong, but it's still spinning, right? All that kinetic energy still putting inertia back into the national grid, right? A bit like this. That's the turbine. There's 120 tons of that. Just imagine how much energy that's putting back into the grid. You're biking at me on a push bike, 5 miles an hour, I'm going to stop you, right? But if you're driving at me in a truck at 5 miles an hour, same speed, I'm getting squashed, right? That's because the truck has way more inertia than you on a push bike, right? That's what this place is, right? This is a bit of inertia for the national grid. Making absolutely no power at all, right? But what it's doing is creating stability. 50 hertz. A lot going on in that room. It was hot, noisy. I had my nose up to the shaft. What, 120 tonne of spinning metal there? You are not stopping that. That's some amount of energy there. What's going on in that room is making up for what solar panels and wind turbines don't have, which is inertia. had a bit of a helping hand to keep the synchronous compensation unit up and running. We changed the oil filter on it, which was, yeah, there's 3,000 gallons of oil there. One bit of muck dropped in the oil, one wrong move knocked the valve, or you know what I mean? It only takes a millisecond of a glitch to trip one of those places out. Yeah, a fairly important job. Let me get stuck in the 360 digger. Great, give me big pincers. $400 grand that machine. And they let me in that, fair play to them. £400,000 of money. Pounds, not weights. I'm a metric person. I'm a metric person. Sorry. It's not American. You know what that is, don't you? Electric transit. E-transit. Come on around here. Look, it's proper electric. You know, I love my transits. I love too expensive though, but I love my transits. Best selling vehicle in Britain last year, I wouldn't have believed it, Ford Transit Custom. Best selling vehicle in Britain. So when you see an electric Ford Transits, it's happening. So this is the thin end of the wedge. It is happening. So we're going to give it a go. You hear that? We're going to give it a go. Hang on. We're going to give it a go and see what I reckon. You can get this van in two models, 180 horsepower and 260 horsepower, and this is the 260 horsepower one. Go on, let me just show you. To be honest, you're not going to get an idea of how it goes, but let me slow it down. A 260 horsepower van is a fast van. We're 100% power. That's flat out. 650, 60. Yeah, we're in a 40 limit now, we'll slow off. And then as soon as I let off, it's regenerating, so it's putting energy back into the battery, so it's got the ability to do that. Yeah, it's fast, but I don't buy a van to be fast. I'd rather have a greater range than the performance. A saying, driven normally, this van will cover 200 miles on a tank full. I'm going to call it a tank full, right? But on a motorway, it'll cover something more like 160 miles, right? But I gave the van yesterday to the farm manager. My boss, yeah, Pete, the farm manager, who's dotting here, there and everywhere, usually does 200 miles a day, and he got to 106 miles, and it flashed up red with 0 on it. He's, yeah, just a normal bloke. Yeah, normal bloke, knows how to drive things, loads of mechanical sympathy. To me, that was a great real-world test. Look, we're doing this programme at the minute, right? And we're going to Somerset next week, right? Which to me, that's probably like a 500-mile round trip, probably over 500-mile round trip, right? Would I do that trip in this? No chance. Not on your Nelly. I need to be there and back in a day. I'd have to plan my route on around charging points, and then the chances of those charging points working and being as fast as they all state, I think that's... I've got a couple of mates who's into electric cars, and in fact, one of my mates, he's the most pro electric car man you'll ever meet, right? And he had to go to Bath the other day in his Lexus, right? It took him 10 hours to get there. He was not a happy camper. So the government helped you along if you was willing to buy an electric car, which they did, which was great. But they've packed in with that now because electric cars stand up. You know, they don't need to help it, they don't need to get it going because people are buying them anyway. They don't need, you know, they don't need the incentive of a subsidy. But with the vans, they're keeping the subsidy on for another couple of years. £65,000 this van costs. £65,000. Yeah, so if we take our £5 government subsidy off, it then makes it just a couple of grand more than the diesel equivalent. But that's still a lot of money. That's still a lot of money. Lovely, nice to drive, nippy, but not for me. For two things, for the price and for the range. Nothing's changed, and we was talking about this, what, a couple of years ago? Nothing's changed. Right, what am I? Yeah, nearly 3 years into electric car ownership. And now, recently, I've just started thinking, was that a wise move? You know, with the price of electric going through the roof, is it going to be as cheap to run it on diesel as it would be on electric? So what we've done, we've got this posh app on the phone that's going to compare it. Select Volvo XC40 Recharge, that's what it is. Right, and you can get the same XC40 diesel. That's what we'll do. We're going to do what? 50 miles a day, every day. And the electricity cost, we're going to put it at what the new tariff is, which is 34p per kilowatt hour. And then the diesel cost, £1.75 per litre, right? Calculate the running costs. Well, I'm expecting to be disappointed that really it wasn't worth it going down. Pleasantly surprised. The daily cost, for the electric it's going to cost £5.50, and for the diesel it's going to cost £10. The electric cost for the year is £2,008, that's on electric, and on diesel it's £3,650. So it's still definitely worth doing. Roughly, yeah, it's half the money, which is great, so yeah, I'm happy enough. Morning, here we are in Hull to get some training. They won't just let me go on a helicopter to get to a wind turbine. I've got to go through the proper, let me get this right, underwater helicopter escape training. I'm here for the training, plus all the camera lads. So yeah, I am the cameraman. You see, what we've got here, a bit of a training implement, a dummy helicopter. It's actually a Bedford Rascal. Or Suzuki Super Carry.
The oil and gas industry called it the flying coffin. So if you imagine that impact, put it over, it hurts and it hurts like hell. Deploy EBS. Wrong hand, guide wrong hand, seatbelt buckle hands, that's it.
Nice relax gents and head under.
Of landing on the sea. Release your seatbelt for you.
I've got my certificate, so I passed. You see, I passed. Yeah, some over the moon, really. Over the moon. We all passed. So that's 4 of us off out to the wind farm. The biggest wind farm in the world. It's not just the biggest wind farm in the country, it's the biggest wind farm in the world. Yeah, let's go have a look. Looking forward to it. Right, boys, we're on a day trip. Guy Martin's History of Energy sightseeing tour. Let's get cracking. It's a good view from up here. Up here, that's the sun. Everything comes from that. Our nearest star, a million times bigger than the Earth. Without that, we are snookered. We'd just be a freezing ball of rock. Hang on, let me get these fellas. Got a fella. These fellas would be knackered without the sun. Plants are food. Food is fuel, and that's all humans needed for the first 2 million years of existence. Muscle power. Then we mastered fire, which was quite handy, wasn't it? It was quite handy. Then the Romans came along, right? Romans came along and founded Londinium, where we are, like London. It says, what are you mucking about at? Burning wood. You don't mean burning wood, you want to be burning charcoal. Twice as efficient, twice as much calorific value compared to wood, and loads more heat. You know, we can smelt iron ore, make loads of steel, make loads of tools, and build walls like that, which has been here for 1800 years, still standing. Some job. The next energy source we mastered was water power, right? 1086, the Doomsday Book, states that there was 5,000 water mills in the country. 5,000, right? Here we are on London Bridge. That's what was under London Bridge until the Great Fire of London. Great water wheel. From the 1500s, we was in a bit of a crisis, right? We'd nearly burnt all the wood, all of this stuff, right? So if we'd have run out of that, we wouldn't have been far from the end of civilization. You know, we're not going to last long without the heat. But, as luck would have it, by then we had discovered this little fella, coal. 300 million year old rotted plants. That saved the day. Right, by the late 1700s, coal was powering next door to everything, right? Including steam engines like this. I'm trying to strike it up. There she goes. But come the 1800s, right, this had sort of taken off. We had bridges, railways, steam engines. Business was motoring. Come on, we don't want to knock in a big end out. Come on, let's calm it down. I'm excited about this, right? 57 Auburn Viaduct, it's about here somewhere. There we go. The home of the world's first electrical power station. Invented by Thomas Edison, and it was to power the streetlights and a few posh houses. That was it. Yeah, so what this gave us was reliable electrical power. The Savoy, the first place to have electrical light bulbs. Well impressed. So yeah, within a couple of years, that's what we've got. Electrical light bulbs, phones, kettles, irons. How about? And then oil got in on the act. The perfect fuel for powering your vehicles. Get rid of your horse, replace it with an engine. How's Piccadilly Circus, mate? How far is it down here? 800 yards. Right, sound job. Cheers, boss. Thank you. 800 yards. Keep on trucking, big man. Piccadilly Circus. Brave pigeons. As time goes on, we're getting more reliant on electrical energy. It doesn't matter how much of a tree hugger you are, does it? No one wants to give in big tellies, MRI scanners, smartphones. No one wants to give in any of that kit, do they? We really are slap bang in the middle of the next industrial revolution. Serious business this, right? But I only know bits, right? I want to find out a bit more. I want to see what's going on, see what the crack is. So here we are. It all starts here. Let's see what he's had for dinner. Yeah, I think they're great. Fluid movements, aren't they? I'm impressed. What are you looking at? Is that? What's happening, big man? Yeah, but he's maybe not quite as attractive because he's got a bit of a snake's head, hasn't he? Hey. Look at that. Come on, lads. Look, as it's going to put his foot down, but it sees there's an obstacle in the way, it can move its leg out of the way at the 11th hour, right? But if it was any bigger and it had a load of mass to it, when it moved its leg fast, it would chuck the dog over. It'd have to account for it, so that's the idea why they're so light. Again, tool to do a job. Amazing, though. It's like a 2-year-old Labrador. Just to say, look. $65,000. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money, but that's a lot of kit in it. Get a bit of that, big man. Oh, hang on, we've maybe flat batteries. Oh no, we're away. Absolute masterpiece. Job done. So, yeah. How much is that looking at me? We've had to come to Newcastle to do a lot of rope access training and a bit more sea survival training.
Swim across, that's it. Legs together, don't kick.
Yeah, this is what we're learning. It's not like working in the power industry. You know, no, like going to a power station or anything. Yeah, this is just to get on a wind turbine. It's not a 5-minute job. There's a lot involved. All the bloody certs and passages you need to get to be able to get anywhere near an offshore wind turbine. Yeah, not an easy job. Not an easy job.
Go up in the showers, give them a fresh water wash down out the showers, turn them inside out. See the rails up there?
What a job! Great job!
Hang them over.
Great job!
Hang them over
Well
there,
impressed.
yeah.
And then I've got to do some online questionnaire or something, so I've got that to do. So there's going to be, 2.5 days of mucking about before we can even get to look at a wind turbine. But anyway, yeah, all good fun, all good fun. Yeah, so you do see a lot of times driving, you don't have to go far now before you see a wind turbine, do you? And if you see a wind turbine not spinning, the reasons generally are, right, there's not enough wind, right, or it's being worked on and it's under a service, under a bit of maintenance, or too much power is being produced and the grid can't cope with it, so the wires can't deal with it. And finally, there's too much wind
and the turbine would spin too fast and generate too much energy and heat that it can't deal with it. So you lock it off. You lock it off at that point. And if you don't stop it or lock it off, this is what happens. That's got too hot and set alight. Okay.